Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that Surewinder is still selling amazing products. Some of you guys have been dragging your feet for whatever reason. If your shoulder hurts, do not waste time. Pull the trigger. I just bought 4 or 5 of them, and we had 2 guys out. You know how much it cost me to pay for 2 guys being out with bad shoulders? We just pulled the trigger and we said, listen, everybody's going to have one on a truck. It's mandatory. You got to use it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till your guys go down. It's going to cost you more. Buy a Surewinder.
What's up, guys? Ryan here, Torsion Talk podcast. And today we're going to talk a little leadership. I know you guys are probably tired of me talking about leadership, but I can honestly say it's the single most important thing to my business above marketing, above sales, above everything. If I'm not doing a good job with leadership, then all of it goes to waste. It's probably the best ROI of time I've ever put in for my business or personal. So, do you remember when you went to start your business? If you're like me, you probably dove headfirst into books, research, videos, everything. And a lot of it had to do with the trade for me because I lacked experience in garage doors or home services in general. But I also really had to focus on the business aspect. And I had run businesses for other people. I had run businesses for myself that were more like side gigs than full-blown multi-million-dollar companies. But in the grand scheme of things, I've taken a beating over the years. And one of the things that holds consistently true in my life, where I focus my attention, it thrives. I mean, thrives. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm using it as a point of interest. If you pour your heart and soul into something and you're giving your best effort and you have a good team, you will have results. In a down market, you will have results when marketing's not great. You will have results when the economy is bad, regardless of what's going on. It's weird how a great leader inspires people. And inspired people produce. So I think the rules are something like this in my head. And I totally am making this up. So bear with me. I'm no John Maxwell. So please take this with a grain of salt. But just from my experience, right? You don't need to know everything about garage doors in order to be a great CEO or president. You don't need to know everything about it to even be a great general manager. So a lack of knowledge with garage doors isn't really needed in order to run a great garage door company. Why is that? I think the main reason is because you need people who understand people. There's a human aspect to what we do, and a lot of you guys wouldn't even have started your own business if the business owner originally inspired you and made you feel appreciated, made you feel like the work that you're putting in is worth it. And I think when you get to a point where you can no longer be a proactive leader, the trickle down effect is uninspired people, unappreciated people, and you're trying to say, hey, go charge that mountain over there, but I'm going to stay over here. And no one can say that better than me because I run multiple businesses and I'm trying to grow both, and they are growing successfully. But one thing that I do know for a fact is I have to find people with servant minds and servant hearts. Because if I don't, what you get is a group of people that are become bitter or frustrated. And they look at me and they say, well, look at Ryan. He's over there with the marketing group having fun. You know, they have a day at the VR escape room or whatever, like we had last week. They see the pictures, but they're out working their butts off. right? If they don't have a good heart and I'm not pouring into them and showing them that they're appreciated and inspiring them, then that very well turns into bitterness. That also happens when they see you potentially buy a nice house. Like maybe you build your dream home like I did. And they see the house and they're like, oh, wow, that's nice. Must be nice. Well, it is. It is nice. It is. It wasn't nice building it. It wasn't nice building up to it and all the sacrifice we had to take to get here. But yeah, it is nice. 100%. You're right. And the difference between having it and not having it is the sacrifice I made to have it. That's the difference. I was willing to put it all on the line and quit a really good paying job, career, really, with new job offers, at least monthly, for what I was making or more. I quit all that to start a door company for the freedom. And I could have had this house a lot sooner had I stayed there. But I put in a lot of sacrifice, 60, 70-hour weeks, traveling a lot. But yeah, employees can look at it and say, oh, must be nice, right? And the difference, and I'll give you kind of some different scenarios that I think are really important, is that no matter how big we get, I think it's important that our team is able to reach out to us and have a conversation. So why is that important? Well, I have one employee who's a very good employee who came in as an apprentice and has shown us a lot of positive things. Works really hard. We can put him anywhere. He'll give his best effort. And instead of quitting and going somewhere else because he wanted more money, he came to me and said, hey, I really love it here. And I'd like to chat with you about what it would take for me to make more. Are you happy with my performance? And, where do we go from here? And I love that, right? That's the difference between proactiveness and reactiveness. Same thing happens, right? For my other business. I get the phone call and it's like, hey, I'm moving on. I want to learn this new thing and it's not the direction that we're going. So she puts in her notice and it shocks us. Like nobody knows about it, right? And I think like I've had also people come to me and before, and it's happened recently where they're like, hey, I want to go start my own thing. I think I've mentioned it here. And they trust me enough to tell me like months in advance. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like, this is a really good employee, really good team member, someone I really care and trust, care about and trust. And they're telling me months in advance that they want to start their own business and want to give me a heads up and that they'll train their replacement and, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That is a trust level that is only built with proactive leadership. And my response to that is, oh, wow, what are you starting? Oh, I've got some experience. Let me help you start your business. Where are you in the process? Oh, okay, you're there. All right. Well, let me give you a list of things that you need to do real quick to get the ball rolling so that in 3 months you hit the ground running. That's a very different mindset, I think. But if somebody's willing to give it all up, to give up the comfortable job, to give up the comfortable paycheck, to give all that up so that they can go start their own thing, that's a very different position. And as an entrepreneur, how are we supposed to get mad at this person for doing what we did? We really just did that. We should be encouraging it if that's in line with their dreams and their vision. Like, you don't want that person stuck at your office when they could be out spreading their wings and doing great things in life. That's what you really want, right? So I feel like when we talk about leadership, we kind of block it out a little bit. And it's something that we kind of get in spurts with, like we'll read a book and then, we'll be on fire about it and we'll be really excited. And then that goes away for a little bit. But what if you laid out a plan to develop as a leader over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, and put like things in place to trigger if you're doing a good job or not? Like milestones that you want to hit. For me, I really want to get to a point where my staff doesn't feel like they're an inconvenience to me because they know how busy I am. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Oh, I didn't come to you because you were busy. I'm never too busy, like ever, for my people. I'm too busy for customers sometimes. I'm too busy for vendors sometimes. I'm too busy to do a podcast sometimes. I'm too busy to travel sometimes. But I'm never too busy for my family. I'm never too busy for my employees. So how do we get that across? How do we make them feel appreciated proactively? And I think when things hit us in the face as a surprise, it's because we're so far in the weeds that we can't see it coming. And then maybe we see people pulling away, or maybe their production drops and they're not as good as they used to be. And instead of like addressing it right there, we're like, Bill's mad. He's over there grumpy butt again, bringing everybody down, loading his truck, throwing everything around. But we don't even say anything to Bill. We just allow it. We're like, it's okay. But he makes us miserable. Bill's a horrible employee. But we're okay keeping him on because he's doing the job. But then we find out 3 months later when Bill leaves and goes starts his own thing that he's trying to take accounts with him, or he goes to work for a competitor and tells them all your trade secrets or things that you do that take away an advantage when you go head to head. Because Bill sold out months ago. And as a leader, we didn't hold him accountable. And we allowed him to walk all over us, spread negativity, then leave, then hurt us more after he left, because most likely we're going to get a bunch of phone calls from customers complaining that the work was shoddy the last few months. Listen, I have seen it 100 times. My business have turnover? Yeah, we have turnover. I'm going to tell you why. We're growing and we do the best we can to hire good people. And the minute we find out you're not good people, you're out. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people willing to lie through that process. And it's really hard sometimes to tell the difference between people who care and are hardworking. Because I can find people who care, but they may not be hardworking. So you got to find somebody who cares and is hardworking. I'm coaching defense for my son's football team. I think I mentioned that before. And I've never coached football. Well, I've coached football once before, but I was never a defensive coordinator. And I'm still learning how to play the position. I feel like I did a decent job. Saturday was our first game. We lost, unfortunately. They scored on 3 plays. One was a strip. ran it back for a touchdown. So that was a little bit on the offense, but I also coach running back. So I guess I gave that one up too. Then we had 2 missed tackles by linebackers that were supposed to be filling the C gap. And that was big because that both of those missed tackles turned into touchdowns. So I feel like when you have a breakdown like that, I can ignore it, or I can call them on the phone and I can say, hey, I'm not going to mention any names, but like linebacker, I noticed that you really were hesitant to hit that big dude coming through the hole. I feel that, right? But what was the feeling like afterwards when you saw him score a touchdown and they celebrated? What was that feeling like? And do you feel like that feeling's worth trading the feeling of going in there and popping him? And yeah, it might hurt because he's twice your size, but in reality, physical pain goes away a lot sooner than emotional pain.
Hey guys, I found something that changed my business and I want to share it with you. We've created packages that have included some of the best products in our industry to offer our service customers. The heart of that package is Stealth Hardware Kit. Stealth Hardware is the quietest hinges on the market. I challenge you to buy at least one of these, test it for yourself. Put it on your truck and design a quiet performance package for your customers willing to pay for a better, smoother running door. Buy your Stealth Hardware Kit at Service Spring, do a search for quiet hinge, and then buy that. You can buy a double or single door, 7 or 8 foot tall, and promise you, it'll change your service forever.
Somer USA and Somer Group want to thank you for an incredible year and the trust you put in them and their products. As you know, Somer places high value on relationships, education, customer service, innovation, and professionalism. And they are grateful to you for your part in the fostering and dissemination of these values. If there is any way Somer can support you in your journey, whether through their products, the values they hold to, or the knowledge Somer has gained through interaction with door dealers across the world, please reach out to the team at your convenience. They are here to serve you. Again, thank you from the entire Somer team. Check them out at somerusa.com. Tell them Ryan sent you.
And then we got to figure out, listen, if that's not it, like, are they bought in? We got some kids that are just not bought in. They don't care. Like, they're there maybe because their parents signed them up and they didn't really want to play. So we got to evaluate. And what we did this week was we watched film as coaches and we started talking. And we started asking ourselves, who on the team really cares, like, a lot? Who would lay it on the line and is not willing to like, is willing to sacrifice their body in exchange for that emotional state? And we made a list of them all, and then we made that our number one defense. And I'm telling you what, I'm never been more excited since we started football about seeing these boys out there together. And then I'm also never been excited to see people who don't care on the sideline. Because I want to see who's tired of sitting and wants to get in. And maybe, just maybe, it sparks a little fire. But my job is not to motivate our players, and your job is not to motivate your team. They should come to work motivated. You pay them for that. But there is a difference between motivation and inspiration. And I do believe it's our job to inspire. And if we're not sharing our vision and mission and our goals and our core values on a regular basis, making sure everybody knows that this is what we're trying to live by, this is our compass, this is what centers us, this is the direction we're going, this is our GPS. So we're going to hire, fire, and promote off of this. What does that look like for you? You know, I feel like I've developed so much as a leader over the last year because I did this leadership group with both companies, and we read books and we meet every week for an hour and talk about our takeaways. And then I kind of give some context, some stories and things that I've been through. And it helps kind of cement some of the thoughts that they have from the book. And it gives me an opportunity to talk because, I love to talk, right? I mean, I do a podcast all by myself here sometimes. So my key takeaways are I've become a better leader. I got more emphasis on it because I have to. What's important to me about this podcast that you might take away is how much have you grown as a leader since July 2023? What have you implemented in your business to help your employees grow into better leaders? Who are you training to replace you one day potentially? Or who are you equipping to be the leader that can stand in your gap when you go on vacation? Or if you get in a bad accident and you got to be in a hospital for an extended period of time? Who do you trust within your organization to train someone the right way? And are you caring for that person? Are you developing them? Are you building them into the plans you have for the future? Who in your office is willing to work extra, come in early, stay late? I mean, just get it done, whatever it takes. And then who's the installers that you constantly have to go back out for? The service guys who constantly get bad reviews and complaints. The office person that's always late, doesn't follow instruction, and leaves early. When we talk about proactive leadership, we have to talk about time, response time as well. And what I mean by that is it's pretty simple, right? If you have an A team, let's say you got 10 people, 9 of them are amazing, like truly awesome. And one person on the team has a bad attitude and doesn't perform. Are the 9 making it worse for the 1, or is the 1 making it worse for the 9? I would venture to say that the 1 is making it worse for the 9 because they're having to pick up his slack or her slack and still perform their job at a high standard. And no high performer likes a low performer. We view them as lazy. So I just want to challenge you today to be a better leader. Whatever that looks like. That means reading books, listening to books. Like John Maxwell's got enough books to keep you busy for a year. But there's other books too. And when I tell you that there's no way that you can put good in and bad come out. So start putting the good in. I don't normally do this because I try to keep this podcast very separate. But I'm shocked that Garage Door U isn't 100 people because I'm selling the best product in the garage door industry. I'm selling information that you are missing. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever it is that you've struggled with, whatever it is that you've hit your glass ceiling, like I'm pretty sure the answer to that is in a meeting in GDU. And the longer you stay stuck there in that spot, whether it's a business coach, GDU, reading a book, whatever, that will help speed up that process and significantly decrease the pain that you feel. Because your success is typically on the other side of that glass ceiling. But a lot of times we don't even see that we're at a glass ceiling for a particular time. Then we see it. Then we feel like it's too late. Then we're brainstorming on all the reasons why we're stuck. And this, meanwhile, we're like almost a year in and we're struggling. You know, we're firing our marketing agency. We're firing employees. We're scrambling around trying to do everything. And quite frankly, a business coach, which I don't do business coaching, so I don't have a solution for that, but you can find one. GDU is a great resource, not for business coaching, but simply to get information, ask questions, and get resources. You have Garage Door Freedom, which is like a buyer's club with some other benefits I've heard. But why isn't Garage Door Freedom just absolutely blown up? I'll tell you why. And I'm sorry if I step on your toes a little bit, but I think that a lot of people are okay with mediocre results, or you're okay with being mediocre, but you want excellent results from your team. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I know that hurt. You can flick me off through your radio station or your ear pods or whatever you got going on. I understand that hurt a little bit. And that's okay, because some of you needed to hear it. Some of you know you're a mediocre leader and you demand excellent results from your team. And that's not how it works. It's not how it works. We've got to be a good leader. Then we can demand good results. Then we get to be a great leader and we demand great results. Then we be the best leader. Then we tell them we want the best results. But a business can only grow to the level of its leader, the capacity. So if you're stuck at the same place for a long period of time, most likely it's you. You're missing information. You're not taking action. Something. Probably not your marketing. I know that's a sore subject for me. It's probably not your marketing. Are you a proactive leader? Or are you being reactive? Or are you not even acting at all? Man, today's tough. I feel like my preacher up there trying to collect tithes and offerings. I can feel the silence out there from you guys. Can y'all hear me? Are y'all still there? Did y'all hang up on me? Look, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Torsion Talk is the best. And I know today I stepped on some toes. I really wanted to get this message out because it's been on my heart. And when I'm saying this stuff, I'm saying it to me too. Like, I got to get better. We all got to get better. And we never should get to a rival, especially as leaders, because when I found out recently that John Maxwell has a mentor, that blew my mind. And I've recently hired a business coach and went through her program. And then I have mentors. Like, pretty freaking important. If you're not investing in yourself, what goes in comes out. And if you're empty, you got nothing to give. So, hire a business coach, find a mentor, come to GDU. We charge, so don't be surprised when we tell you there's an expense to it. We have overhead for members. We invest back into it. We have full-time employee. Like, don't be surprised. We charge. It's fine. You're going to pay a business coach as well. They charge. Listen, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people cut two things out of budget. One is a recruiting budget for new people to get new people in. That's a big one. Two is people don't invest enough in themselves. I mean, I'm talking, I have probably spent 40, 50 grand this year getting information, working on myself. And I suppose I'll probably do more next year because I want to be the best leader there is. And the only way to do that is to get information that I don't currently have. And the only way to do that a lot of times is to get outside my circle and talk to people that I wouldn't normally talk to. Present my challenges and see how they give me answers, what questions they ask, how they process. Hey, you guys can go visit other door dealers. That's a great way to learn, see how they do things, see how they interact with their employees. Look, I wish y'all well. Don't forget, we got Garage Door Summit 2025, in Puerto Rico in March 16th to the 19th. Willie Robertson's coming. He's going to be a keynote. We got a whole lineup of people. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Do not miss it. You can go to garagedoorsummit.com, garagedoorsummit.com if you want to sign up. And I promise you it's going to be nothing short of amazing. We're going to go all out. We have a few of the all-in tickets left, and then the rest are going to be standard. So hit me up if you have any questions. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Be a better leader. See you later.